Welcome to everybody on behalf of the STADIEM Consortium. I am Wim Vanobberghen. I am working at the VRT and I am the project coordinator of STADIEM. I am here together with a few other consortium partners. So before diving, let's say, into the presentations, I suggest I give them quickly 2 minutes to briefly present themselves. So I will go around the clock as they appear in my screen. So please, Galileo, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Galileo Disperati. I work for Martel Innovate, which is the Swiss partner in the STADIEM Consortium. We work on communication and dissemination, so I'm not gonna directly speak during this webinar, but if there's any questions about the presentations and the video, I'm here to answer. Right. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Galileo. And then we have Lina from F6S.
Welcome, everyone. Very nice to see you here. I'm the one that's replying to you, me and my colleague Daniel, that is present here. So we are all the ones from F6S, and we're responsible for managing all the process of the open calls. So any doubts that are replied, normally it's through us. And we hope that this webinar can help you to have a bit of a glimpse of what STADIEM program is, and we can count on your participation.
All right, thank you, Lina. I will maybe quickly then also give the floor to Daniel.
Thank you, Wim. Nothing much to add. Lina explained everything perfectly. Here on behalf of F6S to make your applications go as smooth as possible.
Okay, thank you. And then we have Tiffaine from Storytech.
Hello, yeah, I'm Tiffaine from Storytech. My two colleagues are not there, so I'm representing them. And I just wanted to say hello and welcome to this OC2 webinar to everybody.
All right, thank you, Tiffaine. And finally, we have Tanja from NMA.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I'm Tanja Deuerling from NMA, which is a media accelerator in Hamburg. We are one of the 4 innovation hubs in the STADIEM Consortium. Yes, and happy to meet you and tell you something about the STADIEM program.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Tanja. So I suggest that we start with our program because on previous webinars, we experienced that it's really a very busy 1 hour of, let's say, presentations and Q&As from your side. Yeah, my colleague Tanja will share her screen, so I'm just waiting a few moments till the slide appear. Okay. Yes, so that's today, so we're Thursday the 10th. That's not a surprise, but maybe more important to you is what's on the program for today. So as a project coordinator, I will brief you, guide you to why there is a STADIEM, why there is STADIEM project, and why it has a open call too. It will take about 5 minutes, and then it will be followed by a brief introduction by Tanja about the challenges, and that's the STADIEM program towards US scale-ups, startups are asked to participate in. And then there will be an explanation about different phases of the STADIEM innovation program. So that's the one you will be applying to via this open call. Then finally, F6S will dive into some important key points to help you make a successful application for this STADIEM open call. And then we have time for your questions. Maybe some practical rules as on the next slide. What we ask you to do, you can see that there is a Q&A button in this Zoom interface. So if you have any questions during the presentations, please put them in the Q&A box, and Daniel and all my other colleagues, we will try to already address them as soon as possible. If after the presentations, which will last about 20 minutes, so we have like a half an hour, 40 minutes of Q&A. You still have a question, please do it in the same interface. And then Daniel will be the moderator and take you further on answering your question. If you have any practical remark about the webinar, be it that there is a connection problem or yes, you want to let somebody in that can't get in, please put that immediately in the chat, and one of my colleagues or myself will take care of that. Also, just to be aware that this meeting is recorded, and we will also probably send the recordings to you once this webinar is finalized. So let me then go into, let's say, more the content and the start of the presentations about STADIEM. Why was there a STADIEM project, or what does it want to do? Actually, the global ambition of the STADIEM project is to boost the opportunities of European media companies and startups. So let's say your startup or scale up, to boost the opportunities to innovate, and to do that in cooperation with a corporate and venture partners. And in that way, we also want to address the broader European challenge of growth in the next generation media program. That means that as part of that ambition, we have two, let's say, major aims. We want to build a strong community of startups, scale-ups, other media actors that stimulate each other and foster innovation. But on the other hand, we also want to do that concretely by setting up an incubation and acceleration program. And that's what is called the STADIEM Innovation Program, which will be detailed later. Why was there then a need for such a STADIEM program? It's because we, as consortium partners, when we wrote our project application, we actually found out that there's a rich plethora of different initiatives to support media tech companies, but there is a need to connect them and to really tell a more European connected story. So STADIEM is actually about connecting and making layers with all these different media technological actors. So it's about connecting you as a startup scale-up with relevant hubs and ecosystems, media sandboxes and accelerators, but also to connect you within that ecosystem with a particular corporate client with whom you will co-develop a new solution and thus enrich their references. And finally, it's also to enable you to liaise with a pool of experts and mentors that are out there in that European ecosystem. STADIEM, some key facts, just important for you to know. It's a 3-year project. We started in September 2020. We're now, let's say, close to halfway, and we will end in September 2023. We have been given 5.5 million euros via the Horizon 2020 program, and actually it brings together 7 strong players on the European media scene. We already introduced some of you all in the beginning of the meeting, but to maybe list, let's say, the corporate names again, it brings together the VRT, so the Flemish Radio and Televisie Omroep. It brings together Media City Bergen, Storytech, and NMA as the 4 hubs, media hubs in the project. And those are reinforced by 3 strong players in community building. That's the EBU. In dissemination, that's Martel. And in open call management, that's F-Success. STADIEM is built around 2 open calls. One started in February 2022 and is ongoing. So you can also find more about that on our website, and that will end in September 2022. And the ones you are here, that's of course the open call 2, which has started in December with this launch for applications, and that will end once you are enrolled into the program in August 2023. Maybe also now you can have here a logo. That's the logo of the main partners I just explained, and also you can have a look here at the key people at the different partners that you will deal with if your application is approved. Important also to know that STADIEM is focusing at a particular kind of media innovations in, let's say, 7 broader domains, and there will be an explanation about those further on. So I'm not going to detail them here. And important also for you to understand is that you are part of the right side of the slide. That will be the STADIEM Media Startup Program, but that's of course connected from the viewpoint of the whole project of STADIEM to more cooperation with the hubs and the broader ecosystem, which you can see on the left side of the slide. Maybe to end my presentation, I think it's interesting to listen to 2 testimonials of 2 startups that are currently actually taking part in the STADIEM Open Call 1 and are currently in the develop phase of the program. So Tanja, please, thank you.
Data Village is a platform that gives back control of the data to the individuals and allows companies to access it without collecting it from their sites. As part of the STADIEM program, we are working with VRT and RTBF on a multi-platform media journey. It allows them to promote their content with access to new data. The opportunity of the STADIEM program allows us to collaborate with large clients, a real opportunity for co-creation and access to vertical that we would not otherwise have access to.
With Framework, you can control how your images appear everywhere, forever. We combine AI with human touch, unlocking the full potential of image display control technology. In STADIEM, we teamed up with Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, one of Germany's leading media houses. Together, we're developing Framework's image display control system to make their image workflows more efficient and transparent. STADIEM has supported us with funding, knowledge, and most importantly, given us an inspirational platform of fellow startups for peer support.
I hope those two testimonials really already make you more motivated to apply for the STADIEM program. As you can see, there are different reasons actually also from those testimonies to join STADIEM. It is that you get access to an international and collaborative media economy, a media community, excuse me, is that you will also work on a cross-border cooperation between corporates and different investors so that you can find funding and collaborations. It's also that you get incubation acceleration opportunities to innovators across 4 hubs in Europe. So the VRT in Brussels, Tallinn with Storytech, Media City Bergen in Bergen, and of course NMA in Hamburg. Also that you can develop, integrate, and pilot your solution with a corporate partner if, of course, you will be successful to the whole program. And you get access to coaching, mentoring, and technology validation and assessment. And last but not least, as also the previous testimony showed, it's also about networking, pitching, and matchmaking, not only with corporates and media tech players, but also with other scale-ups in Europe. So I think I'm at the end of my presentation. So important for you are those key facts. So you can apply until the 28th of February until 17 hours CET. It's a very sharp deadline, and you have to do that through the platform of XSuccess, where you find the link on the right side of my slides. I am now happy to also give the floor to the next speaker, who will more explain you about the different challenges that STADIEM wants to address with you as a scale-up.
Thank you, Wim. So I will proceed the presentation and tell you a bit more about the program and yes, what you can expect in each phase of the program. So what we already did, we delivered 1.93 billion euro to innovative, to our media startups right now. And this is an overview of all the teams we supported until now. So as Wim said, we are in the first open call, and we gained some experiences on the program. So we are really sure that we can deliver and maybe even better program for the next batch. So, but first of all, what are we looking for? So Wim already showed this slide, what the challenges are. We asked our media partners in each hub, what are the pain points? So what are they looking for? What would really help them? And these points are the outcome, and I would like to dive a bit more deeply what we mean by that, challenges. So the first challenge is about content creation and distribution. So what does that mean? As you all know, content is king, but creating immersive, interactive user experience is key. If you can help us, so this are also quotes from our corporate partners, to pre-generate, process, distribute content anywhere and anytime, then you are really right and can apply here. And also storytelling that sticks omnichannel is the name of the game. So if you feel approached by these words, please apply. The next challenge is archiving. So, the future is bright, the past is even better. Every media house has a lot of treasures in their content archives. And they are searching for the best way to share it efficiently to the world and make the most out of it. The third point is about content verification and everything regarding fighting disinformation. The media partners, they have a reputation to lose, and they fight against fake news all the time. So if you have a solution that helps to train, detect, predict, report any kind of disinformation, please apply. Next challenge is everything about so-called journalism 4.0 or quality news. If you can help to empower content creators and journalists to bring news at lightning speed and empower the consumer to validate the quality, then you are right at Stadium. Then, of course, data. If you have a solution that put the creator, producer, analyst, decision maker, viewer, spectator, consumer in the driver's seat and have tools to serve them the best way they can, then yes, again, please apply in Stadium. Sixth challenge is about monetization. Of course, everything has its cost. And especially in Europe, we want to preserve our cultural identity, our broad cultural identity. And we need to find new business models and platforms to make sure that the money lands in the right hands faster, and of course, more efficiently. And last but not least, if you have an idea or something great that does not fit into the categories mentioned before, then you can also apply for the moonshot. So if you have any vision or surprising ideas for the media industry, you can apply, of course, as well. So these are the 7 challenges and goals we are looking for. And now I would like to tell you something about the phases, to give you an overview what you can expect in the Stadium program. So now we are here, we are in the open call, and it will end by end of February. Then we have the March and April. There we will evaluate all the applications and making contracts with you. We will select 40 teams for the match phase starting in May. And the match phase is from May to June. I will dive a bit more deeply later what is happening in those phases. Then we have the develop phase. It's the longest phase is from August to January next year. And then the integrate phase from February to April, and last pilot phase will be from May to August. So it is a 14-month program. It's cascading. So if you can proceed until the next phase, you will meet us like 14 months. Talking about the match phase, so it's the first phase. It will start in May. We will have a kickoff on the 2nd of May. And the goal of this phase is we will do anything to match you with a corporate partner. So the goal of this phase, these 2 months, is to match you with our network. And what are we going to do? We will invite you to the 4 hubs, to events, to matchmaking events, showcasing events, pitch events, that you get an opportunity to create new leads. And by the end of this phase, you should have a partner with whom you can proceed to the develop phase. So it is really necessary to have a corporate partner to proceed. And you need an LOI at the end of this phase so that it's like safe that you have that corporate partner. Then we have the evaluation to get to the next phase. There you have to present needs and action plan and the budget for the next phase. And as I said before, you need to have an LOI or something equivalent to proceed to the next phase. And the evaluation is done by external experts and the innovation hubs. So the first phase, the match phase, it's you can get up to 7,000 euro, and this is mainly for traveling expenses or upskilling. And the next phase, the develop phase, 16 teams will proceed to the develop phase, and there you can get maximum 70,000 euros, which is quite a lot. And in this phase, the goal is that you build and develop the solution together with the corporate partner. And what we are doing, the 4 hubs will support you with individual meetings and upskilling whatever you need. So this phase is a lot of, or mostly about working and developing your solution together with a partner, and you will get any help you need from the 4 innovation hubs of STADIEM. To get to the next phase, from develop to integrate phase, you again have to present needs and action plan, define your budget for the next phase, but also have a strategy for converting leads to business. And you have to make clear that solution really meets the needs of the corporate. So by the end of the phase, although the corporate partner has to confirm that they really want to go with you and make the pilot and integrate the pilot in the next phases. This evaluation will be done also by external experts, the innovation hubs, and this is new in this phase, the corporate partner. So if the corporate partner says, oh, I don't believe that this is going to work with us, then yes, it is not so good for proceeding to the next phase. And then we have the integrate phase. It's only 2 months. And this is, everything is about really finalizing the technical integration, do the first testing. And here it's work in an environment that is not live, but almost live. And here again, you will get need support and upskilling from the innovation hubs of STADIEM. And for this phase, you can get up to 30,000 euro, around about 30,000 euro. And again, there is an evaluation for the next phase, and there we will include really a lot of external experts to make sure that the best cases comes to the pilot phase. We will have, oh, this is my to the pilot phase, because we have in the integrate phase, we have still 12 teams. In the pilot phase, it will be reduced to 4 teams. So this will be, yes, a hard selection at that point. And if you succeed to come to the last phase, you can get again 50,000 K. So if you proceed to this phase, you have 150,000 K received altogether. And in this phase, everything is about demonstrating the results and achievements. We get the customer and stakeholder feedback, but of course, the most important thing is that you execute a successful public pilot. And of course, what you are looking for and what we would like to help you to generate new business investors and clients with this new pilot. So these are the 4 phases. And yes, I think that's from my side. And I would like to give the floor to Lina from F6S and talking about the application, how you can successfully apply.
Hello again. So thank you, Tanja. As she said, my name is Lina, as I said in the presentation, Lina Silveira. So I'm representing the F6S with Daniel. So we're here also to give you a bit of an idea, a glimpse of how you can tackle key points for a successful application. So first of all, what type of applicants are we looking for? So it's very important that you also assess if you are fitted to this program. So we are focused on the media industry. That's the first point. That's very important. It's important also that you are operational for at least 1 year with proven funding documents, so financial records. Also cash runway or self-funding of at least 6 months to a year to prove that the startup can finish the program, or at least of comfort from their investors. So it's important that you present that you're solid startup. That's important for us also to know that you're able to follow through the program, as this program has this specific, and some of these questions already were raised in question and answers. So it's a defined program, defined timing with these phases, and you should go through it as a group. OC1 goes everyone together, OC2 also. So you really have to be able and sustain throughout this time, as Tanja was saying, to pass through the phases. So it's also very important that you have at least, we have a balance between B2B, business to business, 80%. If B2C, business to consumers, then you need B2B partnerships. That's very important also to do the kind of business, if it fits or not what we're looking for. It's also important to find proven initial product market fit, at least one corporate client or LOI, or product business development in the process. So it's also important, another point here, piloting capable products, so live or late stages publicly available beta. And as a last point, also, it's important to take into account that you have received an investment, or you are self-financed, minimum late seed or pre-series A, or very well-known accelerators, incubators, SVC program. So next. So now we have some frequent asked questions. We're already addressing several of them in the Q&A, but anyway, we wanted to share with you some very simple, straightforward questions that were made, and it's very important as they are very basic but fundamental for a successful application. So the applications must be all in English, so every document. So the official language of STADIEM Open Call 2 as an H2020 project is English. So any other language rather than English will not be considered for evaluation. So there's a first stage when it's closed all the applications in the 28th of February after 5, that will be verifying if you have tackled all the important issues, and this is one of them. We'll talk a bit more in the further frequent asked questions, but one of them, and very basic ones, and people get in English. Next. Another frequent asked question is, are startups in the country I'm based in eligible for this program? So it's very important, and I will even share with you in the chat right now, so that you have this information that is written in our slides, that you are one of the eligible EU countries for H2020 financing. So it's not only the EU members, but we have some associated countries too. So you can be eligible even if you're not based in a EU member country. So it's important, and they are also to facilitate a bit the life of the applicants. If you go to F6S platform to do your submission, you already have a roll up where you have all the scroll down, I'm sorry, with all eligible countries mentioned there. So you can already have that idea, but anyway, I would advise you before starting the application to verify on the link that I sent through the chat if your country is eligible for this program. So next. So another frequent asked question is, our business model is relying solely on B2C model. Is that okay? As I said before, and I stress here, it's important that we have rely also on B2B model 80%. So the eligible countries, if B2C, then the applicants need B2B partnerships. Okay, so it's important also that you have also this idea and you think through if the product or service that you're presenting is something that is fit for a program. So next, please. Another frequent question is, I can't provide all the documentation needed in time. Can I submit it later? No, unfortunately, we have the deadline. That is why we have 2 months, which the call is open. It started in 15 December 2021, and it will finish now at the end of this month in 28 February 2022. So we give quite a wide length of time for you to provide the required documents, and they should be given through the F6S platform. It's very important also that all documentations and applications are submitted through the platform. This is the only way that we accept the application. So we cannot be sending after the 28 at 5, or imagine 5:10, and you send us through email the documentation. It's not eligible. We cannot accept that. You have to do it all through the platform and within the timeline. And it's important also, like I was saying, that you see also, I already shared actually in the chat, the link that you see that we have here on the platform of XSS. You can fill in your application, you can submit it through there. We'll be asking you to do description of your project, of your service, what you want to apply with. It will go through the certain sections, which include, for example, the concept, the technology, your business market and growth strategy, your team description, and company information. So we have the whole information that will be needed to have then the verification and evaluation done then internally after the 28th of February when we close the applications. Next, please. So still going and connecting the two slides, the one that I said before. If you have any problems with the submission of the application, either you can go directly to us to Open Call questions to Open Call Stadium .stadium.eu, or you can go to support. There's the support F6S that you can go through and ask in case you're not able to click the button, it doesn't go through on any other technical issue, it's to support. But I would like also to advise you not to do the applications very late, because imagine if you don't have enough time to have the reply timely, then you won't be able to submit it on time. Therefore, I would advise you to the latest to do it 48 hours before. In that way, if you have any problems, technical problems, you have enough time to have that support. Okay, so it's also very important that you also go to our website, where you have all the information regarding the guide of applicants with all the points that are important that should be highlighted, the rules, everything that I was saying here, but with more detail. That you also get more information about the phases. Of course, we're here just pointing you out the most important thematics, but there you have much more lengthy and in detail information. And in case you still have doubts after reading these documents, you should then write to us on the forum. That is our privileged platform because it's public. So we want to make it more transparent and fair. And maybe someone has a question that other people have too, so they can go to the forum and really see if it's already answered. So you should go to our online question and answer public forum, which is an F6S platform, and here we have you'll have the last point, the link to do it. And if it's private, if you need something that you don't want to share in terms of the privacy and confidentiality of your own program or own product, you can go through the Open Call email. But the no binding information, and this is very important to stress out, no binding information will be provided via any other means, rather the F6S public forum, like I said, for a matter also of transparency. So as a reminder, in closing up our presentation here, I remind you again and stress that 28th of February is the deadline for the applications. We have a defined time also for the deadline, which is 17 CET, so Brussels time. The evaluation period, it's between March and April. So during that period, you do also the verification of the eligible proposals. We have external and internal evaluation and all the process that will culminate in the kickoff of the match phase, as Tanja was saying, in the 2nd of May 2022. And that's it. And I wish you a successful application. We're here to help you in case you need any answering of your questions. And then I'll pass the floor to my colleague, Daniel, will be monitoring will be the moderator of this part of the session.
Thank you very much, Lina. Also to Wim and Tanja for a lot of information that was given. There's a lot of information to as well process. So what are your questions now? Feel free to ask any question that you may have in the Q&A box. We already have some questions answered, but I would like to highlight some that are really important and also maybe ask my colleagues to explain further some of the questions that were already answered. So we had one question that is, hi, will we participate in Open Call 1? Could this be a problem that would prevent us from being selected again? So if any of you already have participated in the acceleration program selected for the first phase, unfortunately, as you have already received some funds, you are not eligible to participate again. Also, there were some questions in regards to the timeline, if startups can switch faster to some phases. No, all startups need to follow the same trajectory. So you can't move between phases earlier nor later than expected. So let me see if there are some questions. Yes, what do you consider to be a corporate partner for phase 1? Tanja, maybe you can answer this question, or Wim?
Yes. What is a corporate partner? What we mean? I didn't get the question right.
Yes. So what is considered as a corporate partner for phase 1?
To say broadly, it has to be a big media company. So we are in the media business. It should be a media company. I think in the guideline for applications also something about the exact size, but I don't have it in my mind now. Will, can you jump in? The definition of the media company about the size. Otherwise, we have to get back to you later.
I suggest to send us an email about that, and that we get back to you. So please send the email to the contact address that was presented in the presentation, and we go back to that to you in detail.
Of course.
Or in the forum, the public forum also. I just wanted to add that.
So basically, yes, it is a large media company, but about the size and its activities, you can find more in the guide for applicants. In case you need some even further information about it, don't hesitate to contact us on said mailing lists and public forums. So question from Roland Storti. Is it possible to have more than one corporate partner? So yes, as Tanja.
Yes, I can. Yeah. Yes, of course, you can have more. So great if you have more than one partner. If you already have one, you can apply with this partner. And if you get another lead through Media Futures, yes, you can proceed with 2 partners to the next phase, and you can even then decide with whom you want to proceed. So we are open, and we have teams in the first batch now that even have like the most. I think it's 4 partners. It's getting a bit complicated because you only have one funding for those 4 partners, but theoretically, of course, it is possible.
Thank you, Tanja. We also had one Good question. Are the matchmaking events on-site or online? Lina has answered that it will depend on the conditions. It is envisaged, of course, prior to the pandemic that it will be held in person. So depending on the conditions, we hope that you will be able to travel around Europe and join us on those events. So we also, if we have some questions. Okay, so there is one. Does the corporate partner has to be inside the EU? So does the corporate partner have to be inside the EU? From Jung the book. So Lina, maybe you already started typing, so you can answer now in live.
I already did.
Yeah.
I sent him the link, as we said it previously, of the H2020 country that are eligible for the financing. Not only the EU countries, but also associated countries. We have some associated countries as Israel, Norway, UK, Switzerland, Albania. So we can check on that link, which I shared also in the chat, and verify if you are eligible also as associated country, in case you're not a EU country.
Thank you, Lina. That also answers the question from Carl Robinson. Do the corporate partners have to be in the EU H2020 region? So as Lina mentioned previously, that indeed is the answer. So let's try to done. Anonymous attendee, do you have sufficient resources in places to provide a valid feedback in case an applicant is not chosen? Last year, it was pretty disappointing. So indeed, each startup is assigned to several evaluators. So we can't basically influence the evaluators on how are they going to evaluate, nor how are they going to describe what has not been well with your application, because this is their job and we can't intervene know-how. We can't be biased nor enter any input extra, so we can't let's say fix what evaluators wrote. But indeed, thank you for this feedback, because now we know that we have also to pay attention to that and let evaluators know that they need to elaborate more on their evaluation that you will receive later on. So let's go back to
Daniel, I just have to jump in because of an issue and answer you gave before. I think we have to clarify this and come back to this. It was the question, if you have been in Open Call 1, if you can apply again. So I think we have to clarify. I think we decided that you can apply again. So
Okay.
This is what you communicated before.
Yep.
Right,
Okay.
Wim?
Yes,
sorry.
that's correct. So what I suggest is that to the participants, we will provide also the correct answer, maybe in an email about that. But normally you can reapply if you were into the program last year.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
the correction. Yeah, usually that is not the case in EU-funded programs, but we are glad that we offer this option to participants again.
We will stipulate the correct answer in the email with the conditions, but on general, yes, you can apply again. But how and when, we will stipulate in the email. I think that will erase any doubt. Okay.
Thank you, Wim. So a question from Ali. We are a team of 3 founders and only 2 can attend if successful. Our startup is registered with an office address in the Netherlands. We are non-EU residents. Are we allowed to participate? In general, if your startup is registered within EU or H2020 associated countries, yes, you can participate, because we are signing a contract between the entity that you represent and the program as well. Ralph Neudel asking a question. Hi, 2 questions on the company financial sheet. Number 1, we work a lot with freelancers. Should or can we include them under no number of employees? And are they cost eligible from stage 2 onwards? So Indeed, when you get the funding from the second stage, we do not tell you how to balance your budget or how to spend, so you can definitely use it. But if they are freelancers, I'm not sure if you can put them as employees in the application, but you can indeed say that you collaborate with many people in the field and you can ensure that the team will successfully deliver what has been promised in the application phase. And the second question from Ralph is for predicting future years' finances. Should be optimistically assume we will be admitted to the STADIEM program and included in the public funding line, or don't take STADIEM into account? So someone maybe can answer this one. Basically, if they should already include public funding for the predicting future finances. Should they already include STADIEM finances in their prediction?
I would say that it's important, and maybe someone can add this in, that they only rely on their own financing and not rely on the STADIEM financing, as they don't know how it will go, because it's competitive phases. So it's important that ending the match phase, the financing is for traveling mainly, to visit the hubs and the other network contacts.
Yeah.
So it's important that they rely only on their financials. I don't know if you want to add something to this, Wim.
Yes, so it's important that they have the statement that they are at least viable as well to that. So I don't think when you apply in that sense that you can already include those finances for which you are not sure yet, of course. Important
so
is to have that proof that you are viable, which is either a proof of your financial situation, either some statement of investors that testify on your soundness of finances, which is, I think, also detailed in the rules.
Yes, so what we want, so we really want you to spend the fund on the innovative new product you are developing and not like financing your company as it is. So
thank you. Question from Florian. Can we nominate a possible corporate partner from the media business who is considering working with us and perhaps other startups? Tanja, maybe? It is regards to the LOI they have to provide.
So you have to provide an LOI, so but it has not like a legal form. So if the corporate gives an LOI that he will or she, the corporate partner will work with you in case of the funding, then it's okay. So, but it has not like be a super complicated contract. Don't know if this answer helps you. I think there was a second part of the question.
No,
Can you read it again, or is it answered?
It is answered. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
A question from Sergey. Is it better to position the application more broadly, or should the application be focusing on a single, very well-defined project? So indeed, if you are referring to the challenges, perhaps it is okay if you target several of them, but we do recommend that you focus on one. Even now, on the other hand, if you have to position the application more broadly or focus, we definitely encourage you to focus on one of the things that we have offered in the application process, so we can have the best application possible and it does not leave any room for some feedback that you don't want to receive because the application was rather broad than specific. Anonymous attendee, does the streaming monetization platform fits? So we do have one of the challenges is definitely monetization. Indeed, it fits, and good luck with the application. Question from Richard Otto. So in phase 1, we do have to search for a partner by ourselves. Tanja, would you like to answer that?
yes, but we will help you. So what we are doing, so it's not like that we force any partner to work with you, but we open our networks and try to connect you and like guide you and consult you whom to approach. But in the end, you have to do it by yourself. Yes.
Thank you. Next question is from Ricardo. Thanks, we have a letter of intent from big news publisher, but still we are under the incorporation phase. Can we apply for this call?
What is meant with incorporation phase? Is it that the letter of intent is not there yet, or that you're still working to get it? Or is it something else? And maybe specify this, and I think then we can answer the question better.
Of course, Ricardo, if those things are confidential to you, feel free to reach us out via email so we can clarify this. Question from Roland Storti. If one of the corporate partners is a global entity but headquartered in the US, can they be included? Maybe that is a question for Tanja or Wim. Of course.
Well, I think that... Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, in case they have any headquarters that are located in the EU or an H2020 member states, try getting or any offices they have in aforementioned places, try to get the LOI from those places, of course. Question from Gerard Donnelly. What is the measurement you use to decide if a company is seed or pre-series A besides funding, e.g., for example, traction? So as Lina explained, basically you will have to as well provide the financials so we can see how you have been doing in the past 6 to 12 months. And also, yes, the main measurement is definitely funding.
Yes, as you were saying, it's operational at least 1 year with proven funding documents and also proofs of cash running or self-funded for at least 6 months to a year to prove that startups can finish the program, as we were saying. So it's like confirming it's based on finance, but with those rules.
Thank you.
But we always advise you to go back to the guide of applicants to really go through if you kind of tick all the boxes that we require.
Thank you. So we have a question from Ali. We're already building our platform with an Irish firm. It is probably if it is connected to some of the previous questions.
Yes, I think we have a few that are connected to the previous, but we cannot go and connect it. So when you do these comments, please just copy back what you said. Calliope, I also trying to see what he meant by with the same solution. And I couldn't connect it. So maybe if you can do it again, Ali and Calliope, to connect it with your first question, then we can kind of track it. Or you can write it like through the email or in the binding, more formal way through the platform of FX Success, and we can follow up.
Thank you, Lina. So yes, Ali and Calliope, please, if you can just connect to the question before.
Okay, now I know. Thank you, Calliope. No, you cannot be double funded for the same solution. Like within your company, you may have different services and products, and then you can, yes, to be running at the same time. At least in our program, there are some that we have some limitations, some funded programs. In our program, you can be financed for another service and product through another finance EU program, but 2 hours. And as a general rule, you only can be financed once prefers one solution. It cannot be double funded.
Yes, thank you, Lina. That also answers the question if they should or they can apply again.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Yes, that's one question. It's also important to stress that out, that you cannot be reapplying with the same solution and service. And that wouldn't be fair for all the other new ones that are applying. So please have that into mind also.
we have a question from Roland Storti. Can you please confirm the LOI can be from an entity in the UK? Yes, we confirm. The UK is part of the program, so feel free to receive an LOI from a UK company. So Richard says thanks, thank you. Anonymous attendee, in which phase does the startup receive the financial support? Lina, you started typing, but feel free to answer now in live.
No, as it was presented before, each phase has an amount that will be attributed, but you only will receive it if you pass through those phases. So when you are selected to the program, you start already, like in the match phase, we have financing of the traveling. So you can also reach the goal of finding LOI. But then when you reach to the development, then you have like the maximum of 7,000 euros. If you pass that phase, you can get to the amount of 30,000. So it's linked to each phase. So each phase has a financing that is directed to a certain kind of goal also, and you will receive the guidance and mentoring of the ups on how best to spend that to reach your goals. I don't know if you want to add something to that, Tanja.
Yeah. So maybe to clarify, so you have to make a budget to really tell us where how you want to spend the money. And then except the start phase, which is really no funding, it's only for the traveling. But in the next phases, you get the funding in slices, in 2 or 3 slices. So when you start the develop phase, you get the first slice of the money. And then after the midterm and the final meeting, you get the rest of the money. And in each phase and sub phase, you have to clarify your spendings and how you spend it. So hope this helps.
Thank you, Tanja and Lina. We have now a question from Calliope Papadopoulou. Could you define a bit more what kind of media company the partner should be, i.e. publishing house, news agency, newspaper, or something else? That depends on your solution as well. Which kind of large corporations or companies are you targeting? If you also would like to add something more, Tanja or Wim?
Yeah, so it's any kind of media houses, broadcasters as well, of course. Broadcaster, publishing house, news agencies, newspapers, this is what you mentioned. And of course, everything about moving content. So there we are completely, radio, of course. Yeah, anything. Yeah.
Thank you.
As long as they're media innovators, right?
Yeah. We always take a broad definition of media. So in that sense, it can be very large.
Thank you. We have a question from Ralph Neudel. Question on F6S form. There are questions: are you raising money, and how much you raised from investors? We have raised public funding, but apart from this, are intentionally bootstrapping. How to respond? There is no option to list public funding. Lina, would you like to take this one over?
You can always describe also the type of funding, even if it's not mentioned. So you can mention it in our description of your projects. So that's not an issue.
Thank you, Lina. Ali, is it a must to have a partner before we apply?
No. So just we have 5 minutes. So yes, it is not necessary. So it's good if you have, but the match phase is really for helping you to find a partner.
Thank you. And now let's go quickly through these questions that we are still left. Young the book, I guess public funders are also financial supporters. I guess public funders are also financial supporters. If you think about public funding, yes, indeed. Question from Alec Worrell. We have partnership with the Mayor of London and the Philharmonia. Would it exclude us? Does media include sound? That is a really good question, Alec.
It's this talk is also about technology, so it all depends, I think, on what you have in mind that you will go develop. When I see your question, it's more about who is using or producing it, but it should be, of course, about your solution that relates to technology.
Thank you, Wim. And we also have this question from Sergi Rene. Can you develop more on the proven initial product or market fit requirement, please? Is it necessary to be in the process of developing another pilot before applying? So maybe Tanja, if you can take this one over.
So I think I'm not 100% sure if I get this question right, but if you're applying, so basically we are looking for startups and scale-ups who have a product market and want to develop a new additional product or feature. So this new thing, of course, has not, there does not have to be a pilot, because this is what we plan to do in the program. So you should have like a business and products that work, but we will help you to develop a new thing, a new feature, or whatever, how you call it.
Thank you, Tanja. We have a follow-up question from Alec. We won the UK Government Soundscape Award for Innovation Audio. Is that media tech? Definitely, it is media tech, and if you see that it fits one of the challenges, you can of course apply with that solution.
All right, thank you. I guess we have no more open questions, and we're also past the hour, so that we have, I believe, answered all your questions. Please, there were some open issues. We will refer to them to the platform, as that is, of course, the place where you have the binding answers from our side as well. So we will address some of the issues there that we could not 100% answer in this place. So please check the forum. So I thank you for your questions, for your interest in Stadium, and of course we are looking forward to your applications. And please reach out to us if you still have any more questions. Of course, we are willingness or happy to reply them as fast as we can. And don't forget that the closure for your application, so they should be submitted on the platform, is the 28th of February, 17 hours sharp. So we wish, I think, all the partners here present, we wish you all good luck, and we are looking forward to the application. So thank you. And yeah, speak to you soon, maybe in another Stadium phase. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Keep in touch. Good luck for your application.